And it's not going to happen because Denmark's going to win the World Cup.
Oh my goodness.
I've been on Argentina for so long, but my dark horse, and James makes a good point, they're not really a dark horse because they're touted to make deep runs in every World Cup and every Euro. I like them so much. When I look at teams who can go all the way, it has to come with like a togetherness, a chemistry, and they have all those things. Plus, they have really good players there. The only real weakness is not really an out and out number 9, but they score by committee. So anyway, Denmark is my winner to go through.
You see, that's why people tune into us.
They practiced this, by the way. They practiced this. That's deep fake technology. I think. That wasn't me.
Guys, we have Albert, Mikey, James, and myself, Sarah. And match day 3 has really given us so much to talk about today. We saw Denmark lose 1-0 to Australia, and Tunisia beat France 1-0 as well. That means that France and Australia are out of Group C. Now, Albert, Denmark not only didn't get out of their group after you thought they could potentially win the World Cup, they finished at the very bottom.
They were so disappointing. But I had to. Listen, I talked them up this whole time. And I also said one of the things that might hold them back is their goal scoring. That's exactly what happened. Are you guys loving this right now?
I'm loving it.
Yeah, I will say, though, most people out there did consider Denmark a dark horse, right? We didn't say they'd win the World Cup, as some people.
Yeah.
But they were a dark horse. And I think you're right. They've really disappointed us in this World Cup. They've been awful. Can you say awful?
Yeah, no, I consider them one of the worst teams at the World Cup alongside Qatar. The Qatar is the worst, but Denmark, not much better. 1 goal scored. And one of the reasons why I said goal scoring was going to be an issue, because if you look at World Cup qualifying, they had 18 different goal scorers. Yogi Mila was their top scorer in World Cup qualifying. And if you look at the stats just in this World Cup, no goals in the first half, just 2 shots on target in a do-or-die game. That was essentially a knockout game against Australia. And I'm not taking anything away from Australia, who I said was going to be the worst team in the World Cup. But yeah, Denmark they didn't show up, and it was unbelievable that in that second half, with the lack of urgency and effort, it's like they were almost defeated by the end of the first half.
I was asking you this. Do you think they're a better team than what they showed here at the World Cup? Do you think
Absolutely.
It was just a poor
This is
performance
the
overall?
team that beat France twice in the Nations League. But I guess we always talk about what is the Nations League, and do elite teams actually care about it? And look at France in the World Cup now.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Although they lost today.
This is true.
But still, I know what you're saying. No, and also Denmark, like you mentioned, they're not a team full of stars or creativity or goal scorers. And then a team like Australia, who have really surprised all of us, let's be honest, every single person in the world, including that 26-man squad, are surprised by this. They can defend deep and defend well, and some of those individual defensive performances were absolutely superb. So if you can't unlock that, haven't got that kind of player, there's always that opportunity, right? And I think at Euro, when they got to the semi-finals, a lot of that was just riding this emotional, I won't call it a high because they went through such a traumatic experience in that first game with Eriksen's heart attack, of course. But they took something from that, and it was us against the world, and then they pushed them forward, right? So, listen, didn't have that motivation.
No.
It's kind of crazy to talk about. I know, but you know what I'm saying?
But even with that, like what I really noticed, the realization with Denmark is that if Eriksen isn't good, the team isn't good. They still rely on him so much. And it was so surprising to see what they did at the Euros. But I mean, when you go through something so traumatic, you don't know how you're going to react. And they reacted in an incredible way. But this was not the best version of Denmark. No way.
Well, let's shift our focus to the Socceroos, because like you mentioned, I don't think any of us thought that they were going to be the ones to qualify. I mean, personally, myself, I had Denmark and then Tunisia and then Australia. Who would have thought Australia and France finish the group with the same amount of points, 6 aside? That, to me, is incredible. We obviously saw France lose to Tunisia. Now, I will say Didier Deschamps had a very rotated side. They were already qualified. They didn't need the win. And Tunisia were fighting for everything. But did we see maybe some holes here in France, or did we just see their B team playing?
I mean, they basically made 11 changes, almost 11 changes. And I have to question that, right? In terms of fair play, I know that they're through, but to switch up their whole team like that to clearly what is their B team. I mean, they had Camavinga, a midfielder, playing as a left back. I mean, if you're FIFA, don't you have to look into that and think, oh, maybe we need to limit the amount of changes?
No way. No way.
You don't think so?
Right? No, because they earned that right.
Because there's still a lot on the line for the other teams in the group.
Right, but they earned the right as finishing first, qualifying,
That's
clinching
true.
everything to do whatever they want in the last game. Why risk injuries and further damage to your squad moving forward when
Right.
you have the opportunity not to. I understand it sucks for other teams, but I
That's
think
load
France has
management,
it
right? And
Yeah.
we've been talking for the last 2 years about what will the heat be on the players in this tournament who've been playing this really competitive league season so far. Will they need to be rested during the World Cup? And so if you win your first 2 games and then can rest your stars, you should be able to do that. You know, we discussed Canada against Morocco playing for nothing. Would that be the integrity of the sport being questioned if they don't play a full? There's more of an argument there, I think, than there is for France, who have definitely earned that.
All right. Well, France and Australia are through. It is incredible to say. Good for the Socceroos, and now they will be going up against the first and second place teams in Group C, which we will break down who's gone through right after this. Welcome back into room 442, guys. Now, there was a lot of drama in match day 3 in Group D, but all the drama really came from Group C. That really came down to the very final minute of these 2 matches. We saw Argentina beat Poland 2-0, and Mexico beat Saudi Arabia 2-1, but it just wasn't enough. So we will be seeing Argentina and Leo Messi advancing alongside Poland and Lewandowski. But the big news here is that the medicine man didn't come through today, and Leo Messi actually didn't miss a penalty, but had it saved by arguably the best goalkeeper in the tournament so far in Chesney. What a save.
Again, that's 2 games now. Saved a penalty and brilliant saves both times. The first time, of course, was that double save he managed, but this one was just ridiculous. And I thought throughout this match, he kept them close. It was a crazy day, right? I mean, entering play, any team could have advanced from this group, and it came down to the final couple of minutes.
Yeah.
In the end, we had yellow cards at one point, determining who was going to go in second place between Mexico and Poland. And thankfully, that ended with a late goal by the Saudis. It's changed all that. But man, what great drama! It was just brilliant, and that's why they play the games at the same time. I suppose it really adds to it, that theatre. Thoroughly enjoyable for the neutral. If you're Mexican, you're heartbroken. If you're Polish, you're having a lot to drink tonight. And I don't know, that was a successful World Cup day in my mind.
I think we needed a camera on us trying to figure out how the group was going to play
Yeah,
out
exactly.
when it comes to fair play and goal differential, and it was incredible drama to see. Credit to, I know they're out, Mikey, but credit to Mexico. But where the hell was this team the first 2 matches?
Yeah, you know, Tata Martino, this, I have to say it, this is probably
Gonzo?
the end of his journey. You know, there's a couple points along the way we probably could have said this, but I think this is finally going to be the tipping point for him. And it's just because of that. Mexico did not show up throughout the course of this tournament. They left it to too late against a team like Saudi Arabia, and they couldn't do enough to capitalize. Well, yeah, okay, they created a lot of chances this game. They did a lot. They won 2-1. It's just still too little too late. And you know what? With this Mexican national team, it's a changing of the guard now. This is the turning of the page. And I think it's also, as you pointed out, I think earlier, I think it's going to be a shift in CONCACAF overall, where if Mexico are rebuilding now, reforming, I think it's Canada and U.S.'s CONCACAF now moving forward.
Yeah, it could well be. Good, exciting. They frustrate me so much, Mexico, because they were so good at times today. They dominated at times against Saudi Arabia. They should have scored more than 2 goals. Where was that urgency in that attack early in the tournament, in that 0-0 and that loss? I mean, if you are Mexican, you can point fingers at the manager. Simple as that, right? I mean, a team that exciting, who generally speaking do really well at World Cups. They usually get out of their group and they play really
7
well.
straight groups.
7 straight, was it?
Last time was 1994 that Mexico did not advance out of the group stage.
I know, we all thought maybe their experience would carry them through. It almost did. It almost did,
yeah.
but it wasn't good enough. 1 goal, that's all it was.
And it's not like you can look at the other teams in the group and be like, oh, you know what, they were better. No, it's Poland and Saudi Arabia going through ahead of Mexico. That's
Well, on the flip side, sir, I mean, Poland they've been maybe the most lackluster team to progress to the round of 16. Not good at all. You know, I haven't enjoyed watching them at all. They sat back. They was playing for a draw today, it looked like. And what are they doing against Argentina? You can't be doing that.
I would say, sorry, that we have to give credit to Mexico, at least for their first half against Argentina, because people are saying, what about their first 2 games? They gave Argentina a run for their money in that first half. Yeah, it fell apart in the end, but there were sparks of this team that I did see, okay, maybe they could do it. At the end of the day, they couldn't, but
I think that's the bare minimum, no?
Right. I mean, maybe that's what it is. But we did see a beautiful goal there today. Luis Chavez scoring a golazo of a free kick from so far outside the box. And maybe one of the best goals of the tournament so far.
Yeah, I think.
if not the
Yeah,
best.
I thought so. And then he's like, Richarlison. I'm like, oh yeah,
Come
that was
on.
a pretty good goal too.
Different types of goals.
There's been different
Yeah.
types of goals, but can we
Yeah.
give a little bit of a round of applause to Saudi Arabia? I mean, how do you beat Argentina and not progress through the group? But for them, for that country, that moment alone, I think will make this World Cup.
Well, because they peaked too soon, obviously, right?
way
You know,
too
they,
soon.
Yeah,
they
so
do that. They
I
get
don't-
a day of celebration back
But-
home. They get Rolls Royces before they play the next two games.
Yeah, but then
you
they
save
lost
that
the
stuff,
next
don't
two
you?
You know what? But
games.
a moment like that can motivate the next crop of
Yeah.
Saudi players coming through.
They got a national holiday because of it.
It's not just beating Argentina, right? It's beating Lionel Messi.
Yeah.
That's what's so big.
I don't know. I think for me, like what James said, like they took it and it was like a great thing for them to celebrate. Don't get me wrong, but then their last two games they couldn't do anything with
No.
it. So welcome to the World Cup. You know what I mean? Like
They-
you
they all
can tell
became-
that this is a new tournament for them. But yeah, maybe we will start to see them kind of progress. But looking quickly, yeah, Argentina. Messi missed the free kick, but we saw Alexis McAllister, the most Argentinian last name you've ever heard, score a goal. And Julian Alvarez, who has one goal, and Lautaro Martinez.
She's just taunting you.
I'm just
right
getting
now. Do you hear
stabbed.
this?
Yeah, that kick,
Today's the
Lautaro
day.
golden boot's not going to happen. But listen, I also want to say, penalties, scoring them in the World Cup is not for everybody. Cristiano Ronaldo.
Oh,
That's fine. That's fine.
shots
Messi, no,
fired.
Messi doesn't need to score
Can
penalties.
we just say that that Argentina, in my opinion, I'm still not convinced by this
Oh, I thought
team.
they're pretty good today.
They were
I thought
good
they were really
today.
good.
No, they were good. Don't get me wrong. But if we're holding them to this level, the standard.
Who's convincing you the most right now? Is
Right
it,
now, I have Francis convincing me.
They lost to Tunisia.
9 substitutions, right?
Yeah.
They didn't play anywhere close to their full squad. Spain looks more convincing to
Tied
me.
the last game against
Brazil
Germany.
looks more convincing to me, and
82
Portugal
minutes
looks
to score
convincing to
against
me.
the last opponent.
Right,
Hold
James
on
was
one
the one
second.
starting
What did we
you.
talk about the other day, though? The World Cup, it's all about moments,
Yeah.
right? And if you have a player who can make those moments happen, he didn't score today, but he made a lot happen for Argentina.
Well,
Argentina
but
had a
nothing's
good
changed,
chance.
right? Since we kicked off the World Cup, Brazil were favourites, right? Then you got Argentina and England in there, and Spain in there, and there's
France
cluster
is in
and
there,
France
yeah.
in there.
England
What's
looks more
changed?
convincing.
Yeah.
Not
Against-
really,
against
not
the
really
House of
much,
Wales.
James. Not really much.
Portugal.
But no,
It's
we'll
wide
see.
open.
I think Portugal were still one of the favorites. I don't know about that. Listen, we're going to see Argentina face Australia in the round of 16, as well as Poland and France. Not sure what to expect from those games, but guys, let's look at Team Canada, because even though they are out, they still have one match on Thursday against a very good-looking Moroccan side. Now, Mikey, what is Canada going into this match thinking? Are they going to come out swinging? Are they going to want to get, another goal, maybe even a win?
You have to, right? It's a World Cup. We're only here once every 4 years. In Canada's case, once every 36 years. They're here to come out, and they're going to throw everything, I think, at this last game, especially when you listen to some of Herdman's comments today, some of the team's comments overall. They understand what this moment means, not only for them personally, but also the whole country watching. This is the last chance Canada will have to really motivate this nation as a whole, because there's still going to be a ton of people tuned in. And between now and 2026, now that there's no World Cup qualifiers, this could be the last chance for them to make a real big impression, even more so than like a Gold Cup would, let's say, would do. So yeah,
Unless
I think
they
they're
go
gonna
to
throw
Copa
everything
America in 2024.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That'd be
that
incredible.
would be
Yeah.
really good experience for them.
Do you guys think that this is an opportunity for Herdman to give some other players some World Cup minutes, or is
No. I mean, he might late in the game, depending on what's happening. But this is about, like Mikey said, it's about getting a result. It's still playing your best 11. Now, what that is, without perhaps Stefan Estacia, who didn't train completely with the squad this week since the last game, I don't know. Do you put Atiba back in there against a youthful and dynamic midfield? I don't know. But John Herdman's not looking at this point, I don't think, the 2026 and blooding players. He's looking to end this World Cup on a high. If they can get a win, that's 3 points. You get your goals off the back there. That's a really, really good World Cup. So, John Herdman's got the smile and the charisma, but he is one of the most competitive human beings you could ever meet. He wants to win, right? And I'm sure that's what he'll do. He'll put his best 11 out for this match.
Really quickly, Albert, is John Herdman going to be the coach of Team Canada in 2026 when they host the World Cup?
he kind of hinted at it today, right? I'm going to say yes. I think if he was a bit older, this is just my opinion, I think if he's a bit older, he would maybe consider a move somewhere else if those moves came along. But for right now, he's pretty young, and hosting the World Cup in 2026 has to be some motivation for him as well.
Mikey?
Yeah, I do think he will be the coach of this team in 2026. I think the opportunity that's in front of him to manage a team that's young and exciting and it's going to make noise and improve naturally, especially hosting a World Cup here on home soil. I think it's an opportunity unless something really, really, really good comes along. You just can't pass up. So I think he will be.
And James?
I'm going to say no.
Ooh.
I think that someone will come sniffing around with a really great offer for him at some point. Having a cycle where there is no qualifying, not that many competitive games will drive him absolutely crazy. Might be a couple of Gold Cups in there next year in 2025, perhaps. I'm not sure the schedule right now, which helps. And hey, listen, if Copa America comes around,
Huge.
now that might change things. I hope he sticks around. It wouldn't surprise me if he stuck around. But I mean, when he was asked a question today, what's he supposed to say?
Yeah.
Right. He said all the right things, but he did say, "I will be for the game tomorrow." That kind of stuck out a little bit to me. So I think he will be procured elsewhere. And as great as it's been, there's been a lot of frustrations too working under Canada Soccer, and I think he'll make the move.
Well, luckily we have 4 years until that World Cup comes around. But guys, up next we are doing Fast Money Football, where we tell you a little sprinkle for the games that are coming up tomorrow. So stay with us. We will be right back. Welcome to Fast Money Football presented by Botano, where we tell you about tomorrow's matches and maybe to put a little sprinkle on some of these games. Guys, I cannot stress how important tomorrow's matches are and how exciting they are. They're almost so far the best match day threes. Maybe I'm a little biased, but I think they're going to be great. Let's start with Group E. Albert, Costa Rica, and Germany. No, sorry, that's James.
me, yeah.
Sorry,
That's
not
me.
you. That's not you.
Okay, so I'm taking Germany for the win because they're the better side, but under 3.5 goals plays, I think, plus 142. Listen, Costa Rica, a draw is good for them, right? Potentially. They can move through amazingly somehow with a draw on this one. We know they can defend. They're going to sit so deep. I'm not that enamored with the Germany offense. The big goal scorer last time out is a guy, I can't remember his name now.
Yeah, when he scored him.
Werder Bremen player who was, not even in the top flight a year ago. It's no longer the days of Jurgen Klinsmann. Put it that way, or Miro Klose. They don't exist right now in German football. Mario Gomez, yeah, exactly. So I am going to say a German win, but it's going to be a low-scoring German win. And Costa Rica, after the initial embarrassment against Spain, of course, have bounced back amazingly. And we know they can kill off games playing anti-football. It won't be a joy to watch, that's for sure.
But the other side of that is Spain and Japan, which I think is going to be a much better game than that one. Mikey, what do you have going on there?
Yeah, for this one, I'm going to take both teams to score in this one. And that's just because if you look at the table overall, Japan, I don't know if a draw is going to be good enough to get this team through to the next round. So they're going to come out and they're going to come out trying to score, trying to play. They don't necessarily score a lot of goals, but they've shown they're capable of scoring goals. Spain, on the other hand, I mean, come on. We don't know who exactly the goal is going to come from Spain. There's like 7 different options, but we know that they're going to find a way to find the back of the net, despite how good defensively Japan have been. So I expect this game to be a little bit more wide open than you'd probably expect when these two teams face, just based on the circumstances. So both teams to score at even money, I think it's worth it.
Mikey, I always hate your bets, but I love that one.
Why? Why do you always hate my bets?
I love this bet, though. Both teams to score, Japan and Spain. It's going to be back and forth.
Oh, no.
I'm really looking
I don't know
forward
if I should feel good or
No, I love
bad or insulted about that.
Insulted.
Let's look to Group B, guys, though, where Canada will be playing their last match of the tournament against Morocco. And I have that game, guys. And please, Canadians, do not hate me for this, but I'm taking Morocco on the money line here. It's plus 115 there. The fact that they're even, it's over even money, I can't not defend Morocco. They've been the best team in this group. I've been saying that people in Canada have overlooked this side, and they have. And I just think right now they're the better side. Now, maybe we'll see both teams to score, but I was looking for just the best option. I'm sorry to say.
Why is he laughing?
It just looked like James was a little bit ashamed
No,
of
Sarah,
the
I'm
bet.
with you.
No, I'm not ashamed. I'm ashamed of Sarah.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you. I think if you can get the better team here at plus money, plus
Yeah.
odds, you got to take Morocco.
Yeah.
Looks fantastic. These guys are staring
I
at
can't co-sign. I
I'm
can't
sorry.
co-sign.
I say that there is no pressure on Canada in this game.
There
right?
is no pressure
and
on
there's
Canada.
tons of pressure on Morocco. We're yet to
A
see
lot
them
more
play under
motivation for
pressure.
Morocco to win that game.
Yeah. Well, pressure can go both ways, right?
Let's see what happens. Albert, you have the
Smart.
second
That's far.
leg
Yeah,
of
right.
that. Croatia and Belgium, another big match.
Yes.
What do you got going on?
Croatia, definitely the better team, the best team in this group at the moment. Probably a toss-up between Morocco and Croatia, but for Croatia, they just need a draw to win to get through to the next round. I'm going Croatia double chance plus both teams to score. We know that Croatia can score goals, as we saw against Canada, and Belgium obviously have the quality to do so as well. And I don't see Belgium winning, but I see Croatia getting a result and both teams finding the back of the net.
I don't trust this Belgium team, and if Kevin De Bruyne definitely doesn't trust this Belgian team, how does anybody
is
trust
going
this
on there?
Belgian team right now? Right, I like that.
Yeah, I don't trust them in as far as they might also show up tomorrow.
Let's see,
You know, they
though.
can't. No one in this world. And we've mentioned that a few times today, haven't I? But this Belgian team entering the World Cup, most people thought this team's good enough to go in a long run. It's the last kick at the can, so to speak. They might even win it. You never know. No one thought they'd be this bad. They've been appalling so far. So is there still some kind of heart or any kind of pride left in that team anywhere?
Yeah.
We'll see.
But when it comes to moments, they have the players to pull it off.
They
right?
do, absolutely.
Lukaku, De Bruyne. De Bruyne.
And
being the
Lukaku's
number one
probably
guy
starting
there.
tomorrow, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah.
Well, let's see, guys. As it stands, Group E is Croatia, Morocco, Belgium, and Canada. One last time for Canada to get onto the World Cup pitch. But that's it for us today. We will be back tomorrow talking all things World Cup, Canada football, and all the drama, of course. Cheers for watching.